Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining another Inman Insider webinar. I'm your host, technology columnist Craig Rowe. Today, the ring light is on to talk about that always crucial business concept, customer relationship management. And with us today is Steve Simmons, Vice President of Brokerage Enterprise and International Sales at Propertybase. Steve's been with the company more than 10 years. He's had a lot of experience in prop tech and sales, originally joining the company from Munich, Germany, but quickly moved his way over to the United States to expand the business there, and has been doing a great job since. So today's discussion is going to center on Propertybase Salesforce Edition, which can be scaled to fit any size brokerage. And I think it's ideal for those independents out there that really want to create a unique business advantage in the marketplace. It has tools for those at every level and role in the business and can grow in functionality as your revenue does. But enough about that for me. Let's have a look at Propertybase Salesforce Edition. Steve, thanks very much for joining us and welcome.
All right. Well, thank you and welcome everybody. Thank you, Craig, for the warm intro, and we'll just jump into it today. So we're going to start out just with a quick overview. Some of you might wonder, who Propertybase is, what we do, and then, like Craig said, we're going to focus on our Salesforce Edition. Although we do have, quite a portfolio of products and functionalities, we'll hone in on, getting into a demo of all things Propertybase Salesforce. So let me start by, opening up the slides here. And whoa, we're on the wrong page. Let's get back real quick. First faux pas of the webinar, but just getting into it. And who is Propertybase? What do we do? We kind of run the gamut from top of funnel all the way to the end of the transaction. So we do have lead offerings. We definitely have website offerings that incorporate MLS, IDX, property search, everything else. And then we do offer two CRM tools for brokers and agents. And like I said today, we'll focus on the Salesforce Edition as you see listed here. And just note though that the leads, the websites, the back office, regardless of which CRM platform with Propertybase you're utilizing, those all can be incorporated, they're integrated. And so, lead to close, or whether you want to bring some of your own proprietary technology to the table, that's where Salesforce Edition comes into play quite handily, because it has probably one of the most robust APIs, in the industry to plug and play with other tech if you're set in your ways on those things. All right, so moving along, it's not your average CRM. So, what makes this platform unique? And certainly it's the foundation it's built on, and it's the culmination of, over 10 years of experience working with this platform, being, a longtime partner of Salesforce, as well as being heavily, invested into the real estate industry, of course, and being able to pull in a bunch of specific features, functionalities, et cetera, to make this platform, palatable for the real estate industry. Real estate's typically tended to be a little bit in the past with regards to systems. And if anyone knows any software company, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, the big companies, the small companies, everyone uses Salesforce. If you're anywhere thinking about, running a software type of company. So just something to think about. And we've seen definitely a good shift in the last, I would say 3-4 years, where, we've had clients for a decade, kind of the people that were always innovators, first adopters to kind of build these types of systems. And you're seeing now there's kind of a catch up where people are like, hey, I don't want to be stuck in a proprietary system. I don't want to be stuck in a closed system. And they're turning more and more to, Propertybase Salesforce Edition, because it gives them flexibility, it gives them scalability, and it gives them that platform that they don't have to think about for the next 10 years as far as, keeping up with all of the requirements of technology, whether it be GDPR or California, Protection Acts, ADA compliance with front end. So this is something that you just, as far as the tech goes, you just kind of set it and forget it, and then you turn it into your own and build upon it, configure, and everything else. So, from automation to scalability and just being able to make it unique for your business is one of the key components here. So, I won't get too much into this. It's, from end to end, we have a lot of features, we have a lot of functionality, but literally from, mobile app, from lead ingestion, from nurturing, all the way through marketing campaigns, automation, which is huge within this platform, to be able to set up, automation and to, do less with more, and, get the agents out there, shaking hands and closing deals rather than worrying about, automated follow-ups that can can be done without them. So we'll get into that a little more. And just a few names of companies we work with, and it does span, because this platform is flexible and it can be adaptable to your specific business needs. You might see a couple names on here that are outside traditional brokerage, like a Zavvy or a Forbes. Network plays, Rocket Homes, and then the traditional kind of indie brokers like Hawaii Life, and a lot of people that you guys will recognize, and how they've taken a property-based Salesforce system and utilize it to fit into their specific business needs. And so we'll get into the system there, but because it is flexible, because of the configurability, a lot of people are able to anchor it onto different types of businesses and expand it even into other verticals in their business. And so with that being said, a lot of the success and a lot of what we do based on those 10 years and really having a deep understanding of both the Salesforce and the real estate ecosystems is the ability to, partner with our customers and guide them not only through setup and onboarding, and to help, kind of frame out their initial product and what it will look like and how they're going to use it, but to maintain that relationship over time, because this system, it's living and breathing, and it can continuously be adapted. You can configure, you can slice and dice, you can add, remove stuff at will. And so it kind of gives you a blank canvas of configurability to just kind of adapt along the way. And all the while, Propertybase as a business continues to roll out new, real estate specific features. Salesforce as a company, always keeps the platform up to date, leading edge technology. And, we have, very proven methodologies to get people launched and, successful the long term. So that being said, I'm going to stop, sharing here. Let's go back to cameras, and then we'll switch over and just jump into software. So there's a lot there. There's a lot to cover. Hopefully I don't go too fast. But if we do, we're definitely recording this, and you can always push pause and everything else and rewatch the recording. So I'm gonna come up here. We'll show my screen, and we'll get a thumbs up hopefully from Craig here once I share, and then we'll dive in. That we've got Propertybase on the screen here. A little delay, I think, on the sharing.
That's pretty typical, but no worries there. Steve, just real quick, those quotes you had up there a moment ago, you talked about recruiting and adoption of CRM tech, and those are soft benefits of a CRM. But I always like to just point out how crucial those are as well, right? They pull in agents, you can learn it quicker, and therefore get a return on investment a lot faster. Just something I want to kind of point out to the audience to always think about when they're looking at a CRM. So please carry on.
Yeah, absolutely. And because it is incorporated, there's so much help content out there, from Trailblazer content, from built-in app content. It's actually getting a little crazy with how easy it is to access content within this platform. So, all right, let's just jump into it. So I'm going to kind of go from the platform dynamic and work my way backwards kind of towards the agent usability, right? So I do want to give a little baseline of kind of the dynamics of the platform itself and what makes, Propertybase built on Salesforce the way it is, and why that's, to people's advantages as they're implementing this system. So I'm actually going to start, just with these profiles over here. And within Propertybase, we'll use probably a couple times the word flexibility, configurability, and the word scalability. And some of those terms might scare some people, and some of those terms might really get people excited, right? Because of tech they currently have, or the struggles they've had with either proprietary legacy tech and where they run into walls. And so having a system that ultimately is pretty much completely open and allowing you to kind of manipulate it is pretty powerful in and of itself. But keep in mind, the system can also be utilized completely out of the box. So when we deploy Propertybase with minimal configuration and setup, you can use it from day one too. But a lot of people want to take advantage of that flexibility and kind of grow the system and make it their own, to mimic their process. So just simple things. I'm going to kind of start here with the admin, but we're going to jump into a manager with profile. And these are apps. So when you're logging into a Propertybase, depending on what your role in the business is, whether you're a marketing coordinator, whether you're an admin of the business, whether you're an agent, whether you're a transaction coordinator, the system will put the blinders on you, and we can actually, customize these personas to the individual users and the personas that their job title. And what that means is basically you don't want people to get in the weeds in areas that aren't interesting for them, or you don't want them to see a bunch of stuff on the screens that are not relevant for them. So by baking out these persona-based apps and profiles, it actually deals with security. It deals with usability, keeping agent and user engagement high, and it basically really serves up only the information within the system that's relevant for those people. So I'm just going to start at the top, just real quickly with the administrator, which is kind of the broadest, largest persona. This person is the techie in the company, whether you're a small business with 10 or you're a large brokerage with thousands of agents where you might actually have multiple administrators. This person, as you can see, the tabs on the top got broader. There's kind of a lot going on here with regards to, hey, what's important to me? And maybe as an administrator, we're worried about how many agents are logging into the systems. How do we drive adoption within the system? How many reports are they creating? How many new contacts are we getting? So the short of it is that with this persona and with these dashboards that you see, every single one of these is configurable. Everything we do within the system is configurable. So whether you have a widget that's a speedometer or a counter report, you can serve up the information that this person, when they come in every day, says, hey, this is important to me. This is important to understand my part of the business and how it's going, right? So data-driven insights, and the ability also to basically say, okay, even if I'm not logging into the system every day at any level within the system, I can actually subscribe to dashboards, metrics, reports that'll be delivered to me, on specific days, times of the week. So if every Monday we have a meeting that talks about, how many showings we did last week, how many closings are coming in, or how many agents we recruited, all of that stuff can be served up automatically. And that's what I talk about when you think about automation and stopping the digging, digging in Excel, digging in proprietary systems, digging through files to figure out what the status is of everything else. And it's really a KPI driven approach to, a real estate business. So from an admin standpoint, lots of stuff going on. They can do, whatever, and you can give them access to pretty much anything in the system. With regards to, flexibility, I'm just going to show you one quick thing and then we'll move on here. But this system, from a kind of a configuration standpoint, it's literally drag and drop and more modular and component. So I don't want to overwhelm anybody, but if there's something that you see throughout this demo that you say, I don't work like that, I don't like that, you can literally, with our guidance throughout the setup, we can come into these pages, we drag and drop components on, off, we can tell you what fields are on these layouts, and we can just make it for you so you don't have to deal with anything that's not relevant. And I could just show you that if I want to get rid of that, or if I want to bring in a new dashboard, I can just do whatever I want, however I want. Maybe a new list view up here that brings in and stuff. So in lieu of time, I'm going to keep cranking along, but I just wanted to give people some insights there with regards to the configurability and how simple it is to basically paint the canvas in the way you want to. So one other cool thing is just in general, like the system's pretty powerful, that you get the global search. So pretty much you can drill into any piece of information in the entire system, whether it's object specific, reports, closings, transactions, whatever, or you can do a global search, and just look for an individual person, right? Bobby Buyer. And so that's pretty powerful. You don't think about it, but like having a Google in your CRM that really can find anything and everything and serve it up in any way, shape, or form. All right. I'm going to jump now over to what we would call a manager page. So I'm just going to, if you watch and see at the top when the tabs change. So this could be, an example of, hey, broker in charge, or a regional manager, or even a team lead. And so setting up these personas to have different information. So where we were on the admin, you were seeing kind of user behavior, statistics within the system, kind of techie trends. And within the manager dashboards or the home, they're looking at, hey, how many leads did we generate this week? What are our transactions? What's our projected monthly sales volume? And all of this can be configured depending on how you guys measure commissions, track GCI, looking at your pipeline, everything else. So another persona-based kind of idea about how this works. And of course, they have contacts, tasks, calendar, listings, transactions, reports, dashboards, and pretty much anything else you want to add to the system. So I do want to briefly jump into what we call a control center. And I'm just going to talk about a couple quick things. I'll skim by them, and then we'll jump over into an agent persona and keep things going. So within this platform, we've basically, whether it's integrations, whether it's, lead distribution, email parsing from different lead sources that are coming in to be able to automatically create those things, to automatic scoring. So we've built something called a Propertybase score, which you can connect with, any type of activity, any type of engagement from a consumer, and basically drive a score that you can use our default, or you can set a custom score, depending on your business, because these are configurable. And what that means is, someone goes to your website, they look at a property, it drives their score. Someone, just clicked on an email you sent, drives their score. And we also have depreciation, meaning the longer the engagement, falls into the future and they stop being so engaged, the score drops, which also tells agents and brokers that, hey, it's time to pick up the phone and engage more. So kind of having a scoring model. And I don't believe I've seen, in 10 years, anyone else that has a configurable scoring algorithm. Usually companies just put one in and you're blind to what drives it. So this really allows you to say, okay, I know what's important to our business. I can set the parameters around these types of things, and I can prioritize my day, my week, my month, and what I'm going to do, how I'm going to nurture, how I'm going to market to people based on a score. We have a huge marketing section. So I'm going to come up here into our favorites and just briefly talk about some other things, and then we'll get into these kind of on the agent level. But, from CRM all the way through to marketing. So, a lot of companies, they will bolt on a marketing system, or they, use their own individual system. So with Propertybase, we've gone above and beyond, and pretty much at all levels, whether you're sending one-on-one emails, drip emails, mass text emails, mass campaigns, you can do everything in one place, and there's kind of closed looped reporting across the board. So I'll get into that and show you a couple examples, but just again, within the personas, we have the ability to serve up any type of information. You have all of your relevant CRM type objects, and you can pretty much do everything from your initial, phone calls when you're getting new leads through distribution, all the way through to, the closing the transaction and tracking, multiple parties on a transaction file. Okay, I'm going to jump in, and we're going to just kind of walk through, the workflow of, the objects in Propertybase kind of from an agent standpoint. And it's pretty, the fact that we have 30 minutes today, this is going to be pretty quick, and we could talk hours about all the features and functionality here. But in general, what's important to an agent, it's one, speed to lead, understanding their contacts, the leads that are coming in, where they're at in a process. So if we just kind of take a step back and kind of look at this screen, what does this tell us? And this can, of course, be configured to tell us different things. But hey, I want to make sure I keep my database healthy. That's one thing. So we actually have some widgets that serve up information and tell agents, hey, if I'm missing here 24 birth dates on my contacts, maybe that's something I want to go update, so I can when I want to send out the birthday cards or the email notifications, that they're going to everyone. So making sure the database is up to speed with regards to nurturing your sphere standpoint, super important. Also understand, hey, what are my new leads and where are they at in the process? So as you can see, all these leads have a score based on what's going on with them. So you can prioritize things by score. You can immediately put people on drip campaigns. You can actually put them on automated email marketing, drip campaigns, action plan follow-ups, everything else. And you can look, hey, what do I have going on today, tomorrow, whatever. We have some quick links down here, which I won't get into too much, but when I talked about the other integrations with our other product sets, We definitely have single sign-on, and we have full-blown integrations between things like intranet, websites, transactions, print marketing, etc. And this agent is currently on a lead team, so their lead routing is on, and they're getting leads distributed up to them. So on this right rel, you can kind of see, hey, what's going on with tasks, activities, what I have today. We have a demo with Inman, demo with Craig at Inman. So you can track, not only tasks on the day basis, but at the time basis. And we have full integrations with Outlook, Gmail, everything else. So you don't have to do any duplicate entry there. But let's just kind of truck along here. And like I said, see what's going on. And I'm going to come up here and actually just search for, Bobby Buyer, which is generic contact we use in the system to kind of track information. So now I found him in the global search, and we're in a contact record. So pretty straightforward. You have all the details of the person. One thing to note that comes up, we do have household functionality, so you can link Bobby or Sally seller in one household, and you can email them both and make sure you're tracking all of your activities and everything against both of them. What you can do with Bobby here is you can send direct emails. So what makes this different than your Outlook or Gmail? So sure, if you're sending one-off emails from either of those systems, they're going to get logged in your log activity. What we call this is called quick text. And the cool thing about quick text is you can actually just pre-can some templates. So when you do mass or bulk, emails, maybe you had an open house with 20 people and you want to send them, it can mail merge on the fly. Any field in the system, you can just pick and be like, hey, Bob, client first name. And so you can pick a list of 100, 500, whatever clients and push them through here with mail merge. The other cool part is that you have all of the listing inventory available on the fly. So I can, immediately put in inline listings into my email templates, which is something that with any email marketing system or the MLS, it's hard to kind of put all this in one place. So you can do these in one-offs, you can have quick text, and you can incorporate not only attachments, you can do inline listings, and you can even define what type of templates you want to use here and how you want to use it. So just something to consider there when you want to do kind of a batch follow-up with people, or just drop content to people that's already in the system without having to go search for it. Within the contact record too, and this is probably one of the biggest points of having such a nice foundation of CRM is this. We talk about relational databases, and this Bobby Buyer, with this system, we will know pretty much anything and everything that's happened to this person throughout their lifetime with our business, right? And so our inquiries are kind of like saved searches. What were their buying criteria? What, when they were engaging with the website? You have transactions that they're engaging in, you have listings, and we have a bunch of other stuff here too, that everything kind of rolls up into their file. And so agents always know for the history, like, hey, they made offers on this property, they search, we're on our website looking at these properties, et cetera, et cetera. So if I jump over here to the marketing stuff too, you have kind of a full-blown marketing overview about every email they've engaged with, whether they were on an action plan. You can also see, which is very important, and I'll touch on this, anytime they're engaging with the front end of the website. So something important about the Propertybase Salesforce Edition is that Propertybase does provide websites fully integrated, and you can track all the property searches, the saved searches, the favorites, everything on the front end of the website. We do have a lot of clients though that have built their own websites, and they don't want to abandon those. And that's one of the cool things about having the flexibility of the system, is you can bring your own website too, and you can simply plug it in here and then utilize all the same functionality of having kind of a 360-degree view of your clients based on what front end activity they're having. So if you can imagine, like, hey, all these things are moving in parallel, meaning you have your website, you have email marketing, you have people making phone calls, you have your brand on billboards. How do you kind of see who's kind of starting to interact with the brand or yourself at a higher rate? And kind of plugging all those things into one thing can drive that score, which can cause alerts. We have text alerts, push notifications, everything else. But you can really see, like, hey, they're engaging with properties like this, and it's just ultimately pick up the phone and make sure that client knows that they're top of mind with you as the agent, and keep the process moving along. All right, so moving kind of fast now, looking at the clock, but We also have integrated what we call Mls Browser. So I won't get into details here, but this is, when you do utilize our websites or utilize our MLS service, you can literally do anything that you would probably do on the MLS from the back end and incorporate it immediately to, contacts, whether you're looking for matching properties for them. You can actually create what we call linked listings. So if someone says, hey, I'm looking in Boulder and I really like, these two things, I can email them those listings. I can create linked listings. So on their profile, we know that they looked at those, and we can set up saved searches too, which is what we call a market insight report. And so this is pretty cool from an automation standpoint. We can set these up automatically when leads come in, or if you're the agent just saying, hey, I'm looking in Boulder, my budget's, $750 to $1 million. Okay, I'm going to go put those criteria in. I'm going to set up a daily thing. So immediately, every day when those listings, come in, Bobby buyer is going to get everything in Boulder in that price range emailed to them, and they're going to get notifications through push or text when anyone's engaging with those market insight reports. So to kind of sum up the whole MLS, we have, I believe, we're pushing about 270 MLSs as a company, which gives us about 88%, US market coverage from a population standpoint. And so having all the search capabilities, the ability to incorporate all of that stuff into email marketing, as well as have, that outreach going out to the consumer. So when they do see a property they like, they're going to engage with you, your website, your brand, and you're going to get all that information back into the CRM system. All right. All right. Also, you see, just from a contact standpoint, and I won't get into these, but like I said, there's a bunch of stuff you can be doing. You can immediately put Bobby on a drip campaign. You can immediately put Bobby on an action plan. Action plan being a combination of tasks and automations, and you can put a saved search, put them on Market Insights, and literally just start hammering them. So let's jump over into listings. Listings. These are all powered, they're fed in by the MLS. We do have companies that utilize us to actually be the listing database in addition to the MLS for pocket listings or international listings, et cetera. And so on listing records, we of course have the ability to, we have all the media, we have all the images, we have everything related to the listings coming over from the MLS and everything that's happened on a listing. So if you're talking about, representing a seller, anything that's going on a listing, this one doesn't have a lot of activity, but showings, how many open houses, showings you've done, and ultimately whether you've gotten offers, and you can roll all that information up into a seller report and provide it, back to those people with regards to what's going on in their listing. So nothing to get in too much, but one thing to talk about here is matching. So something pretty cool with Propertybase is the ability on both sides. I've got exact matching here, so I'm gonna slim it down, is the ability to take a listing. So if you're a larger brokerage, or even you have a network of agents that you want to, send referrals to, you can do reverse matching. So if you think about it, hey, we got a new listing, let's go find people that match, or we've got a new, buyer and we want to find listings that match. So you can kind of do that both directions, and find matches all along the way. So we do have a bunch of functionality with regards to marketing lists, to be able to send emails out or properties to those people that have the matching criteria. And as we're running out of time here a little bit, I'm gonna try to skirt over some stuff, but going back to kind of the dashboards, and this being on an agent level, and this is just an example once it refreshes, but if you look at performance of an agent, you can set goals, you can set guidelines, and then you look at performance of the business, you look at performance of the region. So being able to serve all that up, depending on who's engaging, and basically drive results through, key indicators, right? Whether people are not hitting the phones enough, they're not sending enough emails, whether they're not getting enough leads, they're not making enough, selling appointments, et cetera, et cetera. So we have the ability to, customize that and make it, a driving standard for the agents. So that being said, it's I've gone through a little fast, I think, and there's probably another hour's worth of stuff that I'd love to talk about. I do want to briefly, if I can, just open up the mobile, because I think for the agents, That's pretty important.
It is,
and
yeah.
Just take a minute, and then maybe a couple questions if we just can run 5 minutes over. But let me just stop this share here, and let me get the mobile app up. And ultimately, I wanted to say it's just everything you've seen in the desktop, and there's a lot of stuff we didn't have time to show, but everything is available to do on the mobile app as well. So let me just throw this up as well, just to give you guys a glimpse.
That's a lot to contain in a mobile experience, so that's pretty impressive based on what I've seen.
It is. So
yeah.
Let me see screen. Here we go, and let's see if the mobile screen will pop up here. All right. So if you got that, Craig?
It's still hanging up just a bit, but again,
let me know when it comes through.
Well, looks like it's holding up a bit. If someone wanted to go online and get a look at that app, Steve, what can they do? It looks like it's popping up.
I'll do it here. Yeah, it looks like we got it here.
Okay.
You got it on the screen. So basically, and this will take just a couple seconds, but I just wanted to show the ease of use, and it's a robust, super awesome, super easy to use app. And even from tracking your personal dashboards, any type of contact follow-up, you have all the lists. Here are all my follow-ups today, anything I want to do, and you can literally call people directly from the app. You can then, when you hang up, you can log a call, you can use Siri. And so this app is amazing. And the other cool part about it is that anything you do on the front end or you configure, it just automatically updates within the system. And so pretty robust app, and I don't want to undervalue it because it's got a lot of capability. But that's been more and more important for agents, of course, on the road, having the app and being able to dig in, set people up on drip campaigns, send them listing information, and all from the phone until, without having to get back to the desktop. So I'll leave it there. That was a little rush. But I welcome anyone to reach out when we want to get in the weeds.
That's all you got for us?
Yeah.
2 real quick questions, Steve. We got about a minute left. Sandy wanted to know if this can be priced for an individual agent.
That's a good question. So unfortunately, no, for an individual agent. This is a system that it does take a little bit of setup, and we found over a decade we have sold to single agents, but typically 5 to 10. So in the US, actually 10 is kind of our starting bundle. That's about the right size of company that really can harness, the value here and build it out to their needs. But great question. Unfortunately, it's not the best fit for individual agents, but we do have other products for individual agents.
And our last audience question here, Andrew wanted to know, going back to the personas that you guys that you guys use, can an administrator impersonate an agent for marketing help or otherwise run the marketing on behalf of an agent?
Absolutely. And unfortunately, because we went so fast, I didn't jump into the marketing section as much, but we do have a full-blown marketing system with templates, drag and drop, everything, and you can absolutely send on behalf of your entire team or agency. And most of our clients do that from a marketing standpoint, just to save the agents a bunch of headache. And all those replies, of course, come right back to the agent, and they keep the conversation going that way. So great question.
Cool. Steve, thanks very much for your time today. Everybody, thanks very much for joining us. Steve, if they want to learn more about Propertybase, see stuff you weren't able to get to, where can they find out more?
Yeah, so just go to propertybase.com, check out our website. You can look at all our different products on there. If you're curious about it, just fill out a form. We'll have an account executive reach out to you, walk you through a slower demo, and talk about any specifics of your business that you want to share. So, and I believe there's a data sheet attached to this thing, so maybe a couple people downloaded that, but or you can reach out to me directly, steve@propertybase.com, if anyone has any questions, and we'd love to hear from you.
Terrific. Well, Steve, thanks very much for your time. Everybody, thanks again for joining us on another Inman Insider webinar. We'll see you all again soon.